right. The Journey 2020 coming off the weekend. How's everybody doing? I'm Charles Morris. This is the Journey 2020 where we come to you every Monday, usually around 7 p.m. most of the time, 99% of the time, around 7. And we've been around since 2013 and we talk about a whole lot of stuff, you know. And so I try to just stay in my corner, just do what I do, feel comfortable, um, just talking to people, trying to enlighten people, bringing awareness. And I just try to seek in what I can and keep it on a low profile, but do the best I can and take it each day. Because at this, it's so funny because at this stage of my life, you look back and you be like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this day, and now I try to live life in segments. What does that mean? And each day I try to find a segment of the goodness of that day because the day can be like, ooh, when you looking around and you see things that happens and you be like, wow, but it didn't happen to me. So I try to take segments of each day and rejoice in the goodness of it because it doesn't always happen that way for a lot of people, and I recognize that. So, with that being said, got a great show for you today, but I was hoping that you had a chance to catch last week's show because back in 2019, I had a very close friend of mine pass away from breast cancer. Now, mind you, she was only 46 years old, and she was a week away from her 47th birthday. A friend of mine that I've been knowing her well over 20 years, and she had a campaign where she was dealing with cancer for like well over a year. It was called Fight Like Francis. And so what I did and what I was trying to do while she was battling cancer, I was trying to do some things and some fundraiser for her as well. But that didn't happen. So what I did was when she passed away, we did a tribute to her. And so every October, I play that segment from 2019. And each time I watch it, I'm like, you know what? There was some really good information there because I had breast cancer survivors come out and tell their stories. I had a couple of doctors. One was from FAM, in FAM Medical School in Tallahassee. She came and she spoke on breast cancer, and I had a doctor that came in from Jacksonville, and he spoke well on cancer. And we had audience, and we took questions, and they tried to educate us. And early detection, of course, is always the key to a lot of things. So if you didn't get a chance, um, it was very, very, very informative. And at the same time, I think about my friend. You know what? I don't even know if I have. Normally, I would have her picture here, but I think I took it down. But yeah, it's called Fight Like Francis, and the thing of it is, she was very much into health, and it's just one of those things how life is, because she ate right, she did a lot of things, but her cancer was just so aggressive. It was one of those things where it just didn't take that long, um, and the doctor told her that your cancer is extremely aggressive. So, if you get a chance, take a look at that. Um, we did get over hurricane season, as far as I know, but you can't say that too quickly. We still have some warm water and so on and so forth, getting ready to go into the fall season. For those who know me, knowing that actually October is my favorite month out of the year. It is like my favorite month, period. Like, why? Well, back in the day, it used to be because when I would go to the theme park, it's not like it is now. It was like there was nobody there. So you can go and like ride the rides over and over and over again. So I would tell people, if you want to come to the theme park, come in October. And the beaches are not as crowded. You don't have to deal with the Florida heat. The evenings are nice and comfortable and stuff like that. But not only that, in the month of October, what you got? Hockey, you got football, you got basketball, you got baseball. What more can you ask for? And I get to fish for my sheephead. That's life. That's living. Anyway, October is my favorite month out of the year. So, with that being said, a couple of weeks ago, I've had Hunchy, Shihan. I got to figure out what to call him. I'm still I'm still trying to figure out. But we do call him Henry because that's what his mom named him. Um, Henry Graves. We were talking, and he said, after we reconnected, because I was. It's funny how God works because I was already processing, thinking about it, starting to plan, and he said, "Let's get the karate event back up and going." And I was like, "Are you like reading my mind or something?" And with that being said, had him come on and talk about how he, so because a lot of martial arts schools closed during the pandemic, and he's still doing his thing, and so we want to welcome him. And he's sitting there. I don't know why he's looking like he's looking, but how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hey, I was just listening to that fantastic story, man. I was just taking it all in and how important October is for cancer awareness, and particularly with the breast cancer. My
Right,
sisters, both of them, have went through it, the treatment, and
right.
I thank God we got past that. So I was just reflecting. That's what I was.
Oh well, and then the funny thing about it too was that when my friend was going through it, I found out that my aunt was also going through it as well. And my aunt is in her 80s, and she's so far, she at the same time, and and I just talked to her recently because I had to call and check on her because the last hurricane that didn't actually hit us went through Perry, Florida, which is up there by Tallahassee, and they was
Uh-huh.
hit pretty hard. So I called her up. I said, "Auntie, you all right?" She said, "I booked and I went to Tallahassee." So she said, "I'm good."
She got
So
out of town.
yes, and so I think she's like 84, 84,
Oh, thank
and
God.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and she was and she was dealing with it and everything, but um so yeah, so I was telling people about a few, like a couple of months ago we were talking, and then when you brought up the whole thing of let's do it, I was like, are you inside my head?
It's
Excuse me. And then I was like, yeah, because I was just in the process of doing all that, and boom, and because of you, it happened.
wow. It was
So,
because of you.
well,
God made it the
right,
connection, so we made it happen.
right. And so with all of that, it was so great for all of that to take place in the way that it did. So I was just so thankful for it. So what we want to do today, by the way, let's tell the people because people don't know. I need you to introduce yourself. Tell us
Oh,
who you
wow.
are.
Okay. Well, my name is Henry Graves. I'm presently the owner and operator of Henry Graves Martial Art Academy here in Orlando, Florida. I'm also the founder of the World Unified Martial Art Alliance and a CEO of it. So I've been doing martial arts now for 60 years. I'm proud to say that. And doing my journey is like always learning. A black belt, I say, is a white belt that never gave up. So I'm always continuous learning, and wrote a book called The Seventh Veil and things like that. Became a best-selling author back in 2020, and just making strive, thank to God, to keep moving forward. My biggest joy is working with kids, and getting them to find out how wonderful they are, and how great they can become, and knowing that the blessings of God is boundless. Is you can't outbeat Him giving. So I'm the kind of person who believes in everyone can reach their potential if they just put their foot forward and don't stop until they get to where they want to go. But they got to have faith. But with that faith, they got to put in work. So I'm a person of work. I like to serve. So that's who I am.
Well, that's that's the key. Um, you're talking about serving. Serving is the key. That's the that's it. Serving is it's like you can't do what you were called to do if you don't serve. And God woke us up this morning to serve. Um,
Yes,
so
indeed.
even though you haven't seen this, but we're gonna kind of go over the highlights of the event that took place a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago. So you're gonna
looking
see it.
forward to
So
that.
yeah, so you're gonna see it for the first time. But let's see if we can start here in just this segment right here. Let's see here. Starting off with the national anthem.
Oh,
Oh,
that
say, can
that
you
gave me goosebumps.
Okay.
see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we
Oh, oh,
hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming,
oh, beautiful.
and the rockets rolled bombs bursting in agony through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land and of the free and the hope of the brave.
I know.
All
Oh,
right. All right.
Charles,
Hello,
she
I'm
is
Orange County
wonderful.
Mayor Jerry Demings. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 20th annual What's My Anti-Drug Youth Summit. I want to take a moment to recognize Charles Morse, founder and president of Youth Central Connection, who has hosted this event for decades. I'm thrilled that our youth, parents, and numerous community partners are coming together to discuss the importance of having an anti-drug. In case you were wondering, my anti-drug growing up was sports. I had great coaches and mentors who gave me positive feedback and support. I commend Charles and the community experts for providing parents and teens with the latest information about the consequences of underage drinking and substance use and share the resources and tools available. An important part of the summit is the YCC Karate Tournament, where youth of all ages can demonstrate the karate skills under the guidance of their instructors. I wish you all the best of luck at today's tournament. For our young people, remember, alcohol and drugs are dangerous and can cause harm to your body and your mind. So stay focused, listen to your instructors and teachers, and do well in school. Have a great day and enjoy today's summit and tournament.
I want to thank Jerry Demings, our mayor, for taking the time to do that because he didn't have to. So I really appreciate it. And he's always been a supporter, along with his wife, has always been a sponsor, so on and so forth. So I do want to appreciate. I do want to say thank you because I really appreciate him taking the time to do that. Um, the other thing too is what you don't know, Henry, Shihan, Hachi, is that is that every year what we do is we recognize people like you. And I recently had someone on my show that I saw out a while back, and I said, you know what, I need to talk with her because she did what she did for well over 25 years. And when I had my TV show, all the different, even she came out to some of my summits and so on and so forth. And I said, you know what? I don't know how come we didn't have this conversation before, especially when your school was open. So
Hmm.
what I did was I actually invited her out to speak to the ladies and the mothers, and she was supposed to be one of the spokesperson. But around 10 o'clock, she called with a little crisis, and I heard her crying, and she had to take care of some stuff. And I said, "No, you need to go. I feel so bad, I can't show." I said, "You need to go take care of go and do
Yeah.
what you need to do and
Yeah.
everything," because she had no idea why I actually invited her out, Henry. She had no clue. So
Okay.
the following, I think 2 days later, I told her to meet me, and this is the conversation that we had. I just been asked the question, what is this all about? I'm standing here with one of my favorite, of all favorites, people that I know on the planet Earth. I'm here with Judy Copeland from the remembrance of Orlando School of Cultural Dance. She was recently on the Journey 2020, and I asked her to come out and speak at my event. And she didn't know why I really wanted her to come out, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make it. And but I wanted her. I told her that I refuse to let her legacy die. I refuse to do that because the older I get, and even when you was on the show, I you revealed to me some things as of why you are who you are. I didn't know that because when you spoke, it was all from a spiritual place.
Yes, it was.
And that was like, oh, that's why. And I've always seen you at an even keel. You was always just balanced. That's not, that's kind of odd. Especially,
Really?
oh, well, when you're dealing with baby kids, come on now.
Well, see, that was the thing.
Right,
I
okay.
never considered them baby kids.
No.
And
Hold
I
on.
never-
Wait a minute. You may not consider them baby kids, but we know they're baby kids. But go ahead.
I can't stand when people say, "Oh, that's some bad kids." You know, we're like, no, there's no such thing. You know, step up your parenting, and we can talk. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. So,
Right. So, and she's figuring like, why did you invite me here today? She has no clue of why she's here today. Okay. Well,
am I being punked?
yeah, you mean. But anyway, listen. Every year, um, since we started the What's My Anti-Drug Use Summit, there's been a thing that we do, and I just wanted to. And when I thought about it, I questioned myself on something, and I asked myself why. Because I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm talking about me. She's like, "What are you talking about?" I want you to hold this right there, just for a second. So I just want you to look at that right there and just smile for a second.
Okay. Oh, this is kind of nerve-wracking because I have no idea what's happening. But hello, everyone. This is Julie.
Now, did you do a good job of smiling?
Yes, I think I did.
Okay, all right. But see, what happens
did a good
is
job.
that okay. We always recognize people for their service to the community. And each year we give out an award. And it is, can you read that for me?
Oh my goodness.
Could you read that for me? Take out and read it. Read it. Tell me what it says.
Youth Central Connection. 2023 YCC, which is Youth Central Connection, Humanitarian Award. Oh, wow. Orange County Coalition, Drug-Free Community, with the website www.drugfreecoalition.org, presented to Julie Coleman, Orlando School of Cultural Dance. And we at Youth Central Connection and Orange County Coalition for a Drug-Free Community wish to recognize you for your outstanding community service.
There you go. And that is what we do every year. And I was sitting there like, how come I didn't do this before? And I'm like, how did I not do this before? But it's better late than never.
But I'm grateful that you did.
But,
Thank you.
but I wanted to recognize her. And even when she came on the show and she talked about it, it made it even more so of why we wanted to recognize her for all the work that she's been doing for so many years. And I tell you, we will not let your legacy down. And it never will, because you have touched the hearts and the minds of so many people in the spirit. And it will carry on to their children, to their children, to their children, because when you do God's work, you touch generations. That's how that works.
Amen.
It never dies. Like his legacy will
Amen.
never die
Amen.
because he's in our hearts, in our minds, in our spirit. And when you do things that way, that's how it works. So I want to thank you for being who you are. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Lord.
service and
Oh,
all the lives you have
thank
touched and the difference you have made. And I'm not just saying it because I have the camera. I'm not just giving it to you because of whatever. It's from the bottom of my heart because I know the truth and you have lived it. And I appreciate all of your hard work.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate
So
that.
now she knows why she was, she had no idea.
I had no idea.
She had no idea. But we wanted to present that to you. And again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
There you go.
All right. Oh, this is
Oh,
so.
good deal.
Yeah,
That was
every
really
year
nice.
we give out a service, a humanitarian service. People who do do things in the community, and I invited her there. She had no clue, but something came up where she couldn't make it. So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and meet her somewhere and give that to her. And she was just really, really, really surprised. Her program for many years was just very awesome in so many ways. So just
Well
wanted to share that
deserved.
with you.
Yes, I'm glad you did. I think that was well deserved, and you can see her humility, how honored she was, and you do that for people who don't go out and say, oh, "Look at me, look what I'm doing." Just they
Right.
just doing it because it's something they want to do. They serving and they helping and they making a difference in children's lives. And for years and years, like you said, this will go on with their children and their children's children and with other people around. This is just a blessing touch for years. So that
Yes.
was well deserved. I applaud her and congratulations and hope to one day meet her and tell her, shake her hands and tell her thank you for her service. That was great.
Oh yes. She had her place that she had was called Orlando School of Cultural Dance, and she taught
Okay.
African dance. She taught ballet. She taught jazz. She taught modern dance. And she taught how to play the African drums as well. And a
Oh,
lot of her
nice.
shows for many years used to be at the Bob Carr, and she did it for over 25 years. So it was awesome,
Wow.
awesome. Yeah, I mean a lot of, and she worked with kids as young as 4 years old, and you see them out on the stage. They're 4 and 5 years old, on up with the
Yeah.
teens and the adults. But her shows were awesome,
Yeah.
and the Bob Carr was always full, and her shows was just
Wow.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. That amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So here now, I kind of put some stuff together, and you can kind of help me kind of go over like what we're looking at because one of the
Okay.
things, and this is what we'll do. I mean, we're talking about the annual What's My Anti-Drug Karate tournament, but let me see here. We got one, two. Okay, we can go ahead and go here, and you can kind of tell us what's going on here.
Okay.
Hold on a
Well,
second.
it seemed to be it seemed to be one of the young ladies are getting ready to do her kata, which is an empty hand form, her
Uh huh.
routine. And
Okay.
it takes a lot of courage to get up there in front of people and do this. So,
Mhm.
oh yeah.
Okay.
So she's going through her movements
Mhm.
and focus, and then what it takes is timing, and to show that she have balance, speed, control, and power.
Mhm.
She's doing a great job.
Okay. Do you know this particular kata? Do you know what this kata is right here?
That is a goju kata. I
Oh.
don't know that
Oh.
particular name of it.
Okay. Goju. Okay. Okay.
Oh, nice. I know her instructor.
Oh.
Yeah, Frankie Whites. So I know that's
Okay. And
goju.
now one of the things that I didn't do, which I had them do, I had the instructors come up. So can you kind of tell us some of the instructors and who was there? While we watch this.
Okay. Frankie Whites was there, and then you had Nick Zambri. It was from Breakwondo. We had I believe Richard Haynes was
Mhm.
there from Zen Life Center. He had some students come in there. And you had, of course, my students there from Henry Graves Martial Art Academy. And I'm trying to think of the other instructor. I didn't quite remember that guy's name. I apologize for that. So
Oh.
it was like three schools there,
Mhm.
and I didn't get all of their names, but yeah. And I was one place, and they were other places scattered around there. So I
Right.
apologize for not remembering all of them. Oh, she's doing a really good. That's another Goju form. It looked like they did the same similar form, and you can see the difference in body makeup and how they move. And
Mhm.
but basically, all the movements are the same, and they're precise. And what it shows is focus, movement, balance, power, speed, and she's going through the kata at a good pace. So she's doing a really good job.
That's a
Yep,
long that's a
same
long
kata.
kata.
Yeah, yeah, it was very good kata too.
um, I had you come on as we going over the West My Anti-Drug Karate tournament that was held on the 23rd of September out at the Dover Shores Community Center. But I want to ask you,
Hmm.
what is the oldest um, student you've had to start as a white belt? What's the oldest you've ever had that started? They came to you. I don't know. I might be too old, but I think I
Yeah,
might
yeah.
want. So, what's the oldest student you ever
Oh
started?
wow. Presently, the oldest was 67.
Okay.
Started in and stayed there, and actually got their black belt and continued to help out in the dojo after 5 years.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying. Is never age is a number, and what you do with that is that's up totally relevant to you. How you
Mhm.
carry yourself, how you want to focus on that. It's never martial arts is like a lifestyle. Just learning how to do things and share moments with other people and share that same passion about doing something you like to do. So, and the youngest I've had was three, just
Mm.
to show you the contrast. So it's you can go from 3 years old up to 67 years old, and that's it. Well, one other person, my mother started doing it. She was like, I think 75, 74. She started doing martial arts with me, and she liked it. But to me, she was always a black belt because she always had my number. I could never, figure out how she did those strikes and moves on me.
Right. But what was that like, Henry? To the fact that your mother, at that age, what? How did how did that go? How did that
Oh,
go?
it
I mean,
went
I mean,
great.
no, 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 no. I meant like, how did that go in reference to, like, did you suggest it to her? Did she come to you? Did she ask? Is it too? How did that go? Did she just come to you and say,
Oh, let me tell
son,
you this
is
story.
it okay? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this is how it went. She was known as Mama Dojo, the
Mhm.
karate mom at the dojo. And she just one day came in there and got on the bag and started punching on it, kicking on it. She said, I think I can do this. So we got her a gi and she got out there and started working out and motivated everybody. It really did. And it's just having her there super excited me. I remember the year I went off to Haiti to compete for the U.S. and American Federation of Martial Arts in Haiti. And she said, bring me back the gold medal, which I did. But just for her to be out there training and inspired me to do the best I can. And that way, God blessed me that I was able to attain that at that time. So, she kept me motivated and helped me all, man, every year she was there, summer camp. And, the kids listen to her better than they listen to me. So it was motivating. For real, they
Wow.
really did.
You know that.
Hey, the old school people meant what they said the first time, and somehow you knew they meant it,
Right.
even as kids. You know what I mean? So this kata right here is Heian Sandan. This is a Shotokan kata. She showed her focus and just movement, taking her time, and that was her first time doing a tournament.
Mhm.
And she was a lot nervous. I remember her coming to me and saying, "Am I going to do okay?" I said, "You're going to do fine. Just stay focused." And she really did. She went out there and performed, and I enjoyed seeing her do it. And like I say, it takes courage for people to get out there and do stuff like that.
Now,
especially kids.
now this is a tournament that we have for the kids. What is out of your students, or even if you've seen it, what is the I should say the oldest student you've seen to do something like a kata at an event? And I'm talking
Oh
about
wow.
somebody. No, and what I mean by that, somebody that started late, right? And then they actually participated.
Okay.
Not no no
Okay.
not no, no and I don't mean somebody who started, but then they was older and they did it. But I'm talking about somebody who may have started late, but then they did, did some type of participation, whatever it was, board breaking, kata, something, weapons, something.
Well, that's I think I had a 60 59-year-old female start, and very shy, didn't want to do anything, just doing it for exercise. And at 60 she went out there and performed at a tournament and did really well. She took second place, and she was just happy to get out there and not forget her kata. And listen to her say it, I'm just glad I didn't. I said, you got out there, you did a great job. And she didn't care about first, second, or third, which made me feel good. She just wanted to go out there and compete and have a good time. And that's what it's all about in the long run. Go out there, have a good time, do your best, and let people see that, at any age, again, you can start doing it. So she was 59, maybe 59 and a half when she came, and she went out and participated like 6 months later. She had turned 60 and she competed, and it was pretty good. So that's the oldest that I seen just start at that age at a white belt and go out and perform without no previous, tournament experience.
Okay, so I got a very good question for you, and you would be the perfect person that I ask this question.
Okay,
You're gonna help us out, right?
I'm
So
gonna
the
do the
people,
best I can.
no. You're gonna be able to answer the question because this is a good question, even if I say so myself. Okay, so the
Well,
people, so the people who's watching this, right? And we're talking our language stuff that I kind of know about just a tad bit, like an ounce, but you know way, 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 way more than I do. For the people who's watching this and they're watching this young man, and we're talking about a kata, and they go like, Hunchy, what is a kata, and what's the purpose of it? What are they doing? Why are they doing that? Is that really martial arts? Can you help people understand and explain to us the concept of a kata and why it's so important in martial arts?
us, I would be happy to. Kata is actually you're doing your self defense in a kata. And what it helps you to do is work on your balance, your speed, your coordination, and help your mind and the body to work as one. So when an incident come up that call on you to react to help defend yourself, you have like recall on how to do different movements, how to have yourself in balance, to keep yourself in check, not to be afraid. So those movements of a kata is designed to help you learn how to move and stay focused, and how to deliver the strike or the block with very good preciseness. And that's the purpose of a kata. I used to think that because I was a fighter when I first started, really young, Koishin Kai karate, and that's like some like Shotokan, but I would I only want to fight. And then one day I got introduced to kata and realized kata got all the elements in the martial arts because it's helping you develop your kicks, blocks, punches, helping you stay in balance by kicking and learning how to balance on one leg, or stepping and punching, learning how to be in balance when you strike. Kata is very important in the martial arts. And not only that, I'm gonna tell you, it prove it'll make your mind, gives it some active work, like building a clock, or fixing a house, or doing a puzzle. That kata is the same kind of thing that help you keep very good mental aptitude and aptitude.
It's funny because I can remember San Diego, one of Dave Washington training partners that they trained years ago, and he came down to visit him, and it was so funny because the training was so different then. And I heard some of them Dave Washington talk about this guy all the time, all the time. And there's so much, respect between them. And he said to me, he said, I had to face Dave Washington every day. And right, no, 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 this is him. Now Dave Washington never heard him say this. This was the first time he ever heard this, right? He
Uh-huh.
said, I had to face him every day. And he said, before class, I always went and said a prayer. He said,
Whoa.
yeah, he said, I had to get prayed up. Now, no, no, I'm serious. I mean, that's what he said. He said, every day before class start, I went and I said a prayer because I had to face him every day. Now, when you hear Dave Washington talk about him, it's in the same thing because he just talked about what it was like facing him every day. But this is what he told me, and I'm talking about not Dave Washington, but San Diego. He said, if I was smart, what I would have worked on was my katas. He said, cause then he showed me. He said, you see this tooth right here? I had to get it, replaced. And you see this right here? He said, if I was smart, that's what I would have been working on, and I would have saved myself some pain and a whole lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he said that's what I should have been working on. But he said I was young and blah blah blah. But he said if I was wise and if I had to do it all over again, I would have been focusing more on the katas than my actual fighting. I was like, oh, okay. See, now there's wisdom speaking there.
Yes.
Now here's a kata that's a sword kata.
Yes.
Can you kind of
Yes.
tell us what's
That's
going on here?
Yeah, well, what he was performing was a kata called Nakagatu, and it shows the delivery of the strike with the sword and how to keep it in balance. So what he was doing is moving with it, showing that with a sword you don't have to do a whole lot of cutting on people, right?
Right.
So it's about keeping your focus and how he took the sword out and how he put the sword back with discipline is very important for the mind body connection. It's like an extension of your hand.
Hmm.
That sword is an extension of your body. So you use it with the same thing like an empty hand kata, but it's a little bit more because now you have a weapon in your hand you got to keep control of.
Right. And so, what people don't know as we talk about katas, as you are explaining them and breaking it down to help us to better understand, um, I'm not quite sure what kata this is here, but I'm watching, I'm looking.
I think it's Ana,
Hmm.
I believe. I'm not sure. That again, that's a Goju kata,
Hmm.
and I'm not. Yeah, the same kata that I think most of his students done that day, the
Now,
same one.
I'm gonna ask you something, and it's it's gonna be something that you can explain, but I don't know if we'll be able to understand it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for the people out there, and I'm going to say this, and if you go for people who really want to see something like really cool, go on YouTube and just put in kata, and then
Oh
it'll bring you, or you can look up competition katas or whatever it is. But when you see like a team kata on the international level, and when you see them do the team kata, when you got three or four people together in sync, like synchronized swimming,
yes,
and that's what they're doing. They're doing synchronizing kata. And the question that I'm asking you is, what people may not see if you pay attention, the hip movement, just a little sudden hip movement, and how important that is, and why that is so important. Can you explain that? That because you'll see,
yes. Oh wow.
and you'll see that shift, and you'll see a and a and for those who recognize kata, you see how clean and how that and like a like whoa, did you see that? And you
Yeah.
go like, did you see what? Did you see the
Yeah.
little hip and all how it all came together in the movement? But there's a reason for that. Can you explain that? Can you help us better understand that?
Oh man, I'll do the best I can. That hip motion is actually bringing your body in alignment with that punch and how you can, it's like a push and pull motion. And that's a very important when you're striking and movement that you do put your hip in it while you kicking and while you punching. Without it, it's just you moving your arms and moving your legs. What that hip rotation does is align your body properly where it should be reference to where the strike is going and the positioning of your body, how it's going to make the punch more accurate and have more power. Without that hip rotation, you don't have this sort of power you may want to have when you engaged in a contest or a combat with another individual. So let me tell you, all of it is in the hip. A lot of martial artists you'll see later on, if they did things improperly, their hips be hurting or their legs will be hurting, and they'll move and they won't keep as good balance because they didn't know how to reflect on having good rotation in their hip. And that's it. The key to it is, like you said, in that rotation and the timing of that strike with the hip movement. So that's a big part of it. And when you learn how to do that, all your colors seem to flow and look so clean. They don't look choppy. They don't look off balance because you have to have all of that in balance before you go to the next phase.
Yeah, because I mean, I can remember this being said to me, and some of them, Dave Washington, he said to me, and now you will understand this, but a lot of people may not because they're doing what they're doing, and when they have no fear, you in trouble. So the person
Yeah,
that you're standing in front of have no fear. So what does that mean? That means that no matter what you do, they're they're not fearful of you. So they know you can't stop them. And you say like, well, what does that mean? That means that he said a lot of people that throw punches is all arms. So there's nothing behind it. There's no hip movement,
right.
right?
Yep.
And so, let me come back here. But so and um so he's telling me that it's all arms and no hip and no rotation. There's no power behind it. So if I'm facing you and if I know you can't stop me, um, that's a whole different story. So I have no fear because there's no hip rotation. There's nothing behind your punch. So it's just you throwing your arms. You're not grounded, and there's no rotation, and that's what you were talking about.
That's exactly right. No power. You don't have to worry about it. It's like if you throw a punch and I block with proper technique. When I block, it's going to hurt you when you throw the punch. When my arm meets your arm, or my hand or my leg meets your arm or leg, you're going to feel the impact because I'm going to be in balance with control. But if you're just using just your arm instead of your body, using your hip, putting your hip behind it, you have no power behind that. Matter of fact, you can just walk through their attack. You can just
Right,
walk right through them and walk right over
right. And those guys, they are used to getting hit. So if you don't have nothing on your punches,
them. You in trouble.
you in trouble. Cause they gonna look
You
at
in trouble.
you in a lot of trouble, a lot of
Yeah.
trouble. So
Yep.
that's that's the end of that phase of it right there. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
did you have fun?
Oh
Uh,
man, I had a great time there, and watching the kids do their thing. When I was listening to you talk, I remember doing a form one time, and when I was doing it, it sounded like it was like pop, pop, pop,
hmm
pop, pop, pop. And when I heard it, I was like, "What's that?" Well, that was me, and I didn't know. The power because you don't know that you're using that kind of power, right? You don't
hmm
even know it. You're so used to doing it, you don't even realize you're doing it. So
Right,
that's what I'm saying.
right.
It was like that kind of a thing to me. So it worked out
hmm
really, really good that day. And from that point on, I wanted to experience and make sure I judge myself by hearing those kind of things once I seen my for him on video.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I use that a lot to train with.
Hmm. Well, you say you've been training for well over 60 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes. Let me tell you, and every day that I could get up at the age of, I think after I was 6 years old, I started doing it at six. And every day that I could get up and do my punching and kicking and push ups and jumping jacks and sit ups. And, I used to have bricks because I didn't have weights at one time. I couldn't afford it. So I get a couple bricks, the big bricks that you get
Mm-hmm.
from like construction site, those big great bricks, I would lift those and work to get myself stronger. So every day I got up, it was a new challenge, and I really liked doing it with that way. So I just love training. Training became a habit.
Okay. Well, after the last person that we saw, um, we here we did have lunch here. You see some pictures here where, we did have some lunch and uh, looked like they were having a good time.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then but right before lunch, we had a chance to
Officer Stanley Murray
have Stanley
of the
Murray, and I
Orange
want them to
County
hear him
Sheriff Department.
just for a moment.
But more
Okay.
importantly,
Oh,
I
it
can
was
say he's
great.
a frat brother as well. But over the years, we have done a lot of things together. A lot of things. And I don't know if he's gonna like me saying what I'm gonna say right now, but I remember him telling me this. He said, Charles, I don't give out tickets unless they earn them. And I don't know if he remember telling me that, but he said, I don't give out tickets unless they earn them, which means that if he stops you and try to have a civil conversation with you, because he said, my first thing is I'm going to see if they're okay. I don't know if you remember me telling me that. But then he said, if you get attitude, anyway, but I'm trying to tell you about his character. Not only that, he's a pastor at his church, and he does a lot of things within the sheriff department through his ministry. But I brought him here today, like I always do. I try to bring somebody in because we was talking about the village earlier. He's not going to hold you long, but he has a passion, he has a heart, and he cares. He has the uniform on, as we can see, but he has a big heart, and he cares. He really cares about our kids. So can you please put your hands together for Officer Deputy Stanley Murray.
Thank you, baby. How we doing? Y'all are quiet. How we doing? All right, you guys are awesome. I was sitting there looking at it and I just felt old. What you guys are doing. I'm gonna leave you quickly with something. As I was sitting there and I was saying, how would I really inspire you all? And I want you to repeat after me. I am. So what are you? So what are you? I'm gonna help you with something. First of all, you're gonna say, I am dedicated. And dedicated means you believe in something bigger than yourself. That's what dedication is. When you don't want to get up and go to school, it's something bigger than yourself. When you don't feel like cleaning your room, it's something bigger than yourself. That's what dedication is. Then you're going to say, I am. You're quiet. I am determined. That means that I am going to be an impact in my life, your life. You're going to make sure that you are listening to your parents. You're understanding your friends. You're inspiring yourself. Hold your head up. I am necessary. I am needed. Are you? And finally, I am, I am, I am devoted. That means that I care about others. I care about my parents, that they work hard to buy me things that I probably don't even deserve. I watch them get up in the morning tired, come home in the evening tired, still make me a sandwich, still buy me pizza, still take me to the park, still take me to Disney and Universal. Dare I say it, take me on cruises. And I know they're tired. I'm going to be devoted to my friends by telling them that it's wrong to pick at others. It's wrong to bully others. We didn't get into martial arts to hurt. We got in martial arts to help others believe they can be someone, that they can be impactful, not just in their house, not just at their school, but in their neighborhoods and communities. So once again, I am devoted. I am dedicated. Are you? Thank you for having me today.
Oh, that was very powerful. Such a good speaker. Good guy.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Um.
Oh, this looked like some Kumite action here. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
sparring part right here.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Now, just to let you know, on November 2nd, the person that we just heard speak, Officer Stanley Murphy, will be sworn in as the new sheriff of Eatonville. I mean, the
Oh,
new deputy.
wow.
Yep.
Congratulations.
I'm sorry, the new police chief of Eatonville. On
Yes,
November 2nd, he will be the new
November
police
2nd.
chief at 6 p.m. on November 2nd. So I know I'm going to be there.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
I hope I could be there for that event. Wow.
I will remind you. I will be there to take pictures and
Okay.
everything. I don't know. I might be able to stream it as well. No, I probably will be videotaping it or something like that.
Yeah.
But
That's great. Congratulations. He really motivated me that day. I like people getting you up, telling you positive thinking and things like that. Oh, wow, that's great. So what you're seeing here is that these two guys are using what they learned. We talked about kata today, right? How
hmm
that impacts, but they're using their practice of the katas into sparring with each other, how to move, how to have balance, how to deliver the kick with timing, balance, and with speed. And that's why your katas are important. Oh, I seen that underhand punch. That was really good. That was reverse punch. That was great. Nice, nicely done. So that's what they're doing right here. And what they do, they got the flags so they can represent,
You're right.
who's who. One in
Right.
white,
So
one in red,
right.
and
So
representing that.
right. So yeah. So the person in red, then if they score a point, you raise the red flag. If the person in white scores the point, then you raise the white flag.
Exactly. That's what that's about right there.
Right.
That wow.
hmm
And that's the good thing. They tell you, and we have to uniform that the red will always be in your right hand and the white will be in your left hand. So any way you turn, when you see that, red or white, you throw up your right hand if it's for the red, if you throw up your left hand if it's for the person in white, and you can't get it confused that way. That is it's such a simple way to do it, but it's very effective.
Mm. Do you remember how old you were the first time you was in a tournament and you
I was
sparred?
eight. I was
And
18.
oh really?
I was 18. Yes, I was 18 and in Pennsylvania, and I went and I remember going to the tournament, and I I didn't have the kind of level of control that a lot of these guys had, because when I was practicing with my sensei, I was with him 7 years before I even got a belt. and he didn't believe in giving out belts. You came there and you practiced and you trained and you learned the art. He was very focused and disciplined person. And I remember going to the tournament and everybody was talking about how good I did, but to me that was so much easier than practicing with sensei. It
Oh
was
yeah.
so much easier, you
Right.
know. And I did pretty good that day. I won my fight, and but Sensei wasn't happy with me because I jumped up, raising my hands, like he was like,
Mhm.
"Why did you do that? That ain't the way you do it." So I learned a good lesson that day. I had a lot of push-ups on that Monday. Yeah, yeah, he was real serious about being humble. You know,
Oh, yeah. Dave Washington has shared so many stories, whether or not he's a police officer or him being in the dojo. I've heard so many of those stories, man. And one of the
Ooh,
favorites, he'll probably be mad at me telling you the story, but I just think it's funny. He had one of the guys, one of the top guys in his dojo, who was kind of like, if he's standing in front of you, especially back in those days, his thing was, you know what? I'm just gonna knock you out. You know, that was, and he said that was just his attitude. So he he said like their group from Okinawa came over, and
okay.
these these old Japanese guys came to the dojo. Now this is their lineage, right? So the gentleman who was part of the dojo didn't have the concept of like like just us. He was just like,
Yes.
I just want to knock somebody out, right?
Yeah.
So here the old guy called him up, and when he was getting ready to get up, he said, "Watch this right here. I'm gonna knock him out."
Hmm. Wrong thing to say.
Right. Now, mind you, some of them has always told me this story. He said, I have a tear in my stomach, a hole in my stomach, and it came from him, and he liked me."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, really?"
Wow.
Yeah, he said, "Yeah," and he liked me. So I'm like,
Man.
"Okay, so that was his spirit, right?"
Yeah.
So
That's pretty good.
so
He's like, and he liked me, and yeah, just show you toughness, man.
right, and
They
so
were a different breed of martial artists back in the day,
right, right.
Charles. Different breed.
So one of the guys that came with him from Okinawa heard him, and he told him, and then some of them say he was this little. He said this dude was like 5'4", this older guy, blah 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 blah. And he said when the guy told him, he said the look on his everything about him changed. And so he said when
Wow.
Bobby stood up there in front of him, he said the next thing you know, Bobby was being flipped down a flight of stairs.
See, don't underestimate nobody. Yeah, like again, humble. Be humble.
He said, and Bobby's wife was like, "My husband got flipped down a flight of stairs."
Yep. Hey, and he was lucky. It was only a flight that was
Right,
stairs there to catch
right.
him at the bottom.
And so the instructor, this is some of them talking to me. So the instructor looking at Bobby saying, "Why, Bobby? Why?" And just why? And
Why would you make a comment
But
like that?
Bobby mentality is like, cause he's there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bobby was a fighter. He came to kick butt, take names. That's what his
Yeah,
whole idea.
he was like, but cause he's there. That what? Why?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
instructor was just sitting there. He said he was just shaking his head like,
I can't believe he did that.
but the old man showed him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know that old joke that said your first mistake was thinking I was an old man, and your
Right.
second mistake was your first mistake. You know, that's it. He learned that lesson that day.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Look at the boy. I think I don't know whether these was girls or not, but you know, every time you see girls sparring and fighting,
Uh
they
huh.
fight so much cleaner than boys. I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they really do because
Well,
they like
probably,
I don't know how
probably,
to do it. I want to learn
probably
how to
because
do
their
it.
techniques are probably better.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they're thinking in the terms of the I mean, the fundamentals.
yep. And that's what they want to do. Woo! She threw a haymaker. Woo! She was going for the fences, boy. Woo! Woo! Us. Good job, ladies. Good job.
you
Hey.
know, and then that's one of the things. Like once in a while, you have to tell them to kind of tone it down a little bit. You'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, well, well, that's your classmate, right? Right.
Yes, right.
So, like
Yeah.
like Bobby. Well, they standing there.
But they here. That's why I'm here to do it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Been around those, and they learn as they grow, and they learn to be more humble, and that's the beautiful part about the art. As they learn and mature, you
Right.
know.
Definitely. So, and I'm looking forward to next year. Um,
Oh
we're
yes.
looking for the summer of July,
Okay.
and again, as I announced, the new chief of Eatonville, he's encouraging us
Ooh.
to come over there and use the Boys and Girls Club there in Eatonville.
Oh
So I got
yes.
a feeling that we probably will be over there in the Boys and Girls Club. I've already
And I
started,
think we will.
whispering in his ear, "Hey man, so let's
I think that'll be great too. He's such a good supporter of the event. He know how important it is by listening to him speak.
He's always
I
been,
know it's gonna be good.
he's always been a part of it. Always. I mean,
There you
we
go,
used to
right
go
there.
back to his program in the '90s. He had a program called the What's Up, What's Up.
Okay.
In the What's Up program back in the '90s, he used to take these kids um, out on a retreat in the wilderness over the weekends. So they
Ooh,
had to stay in tents and all this other stuff. You know,
that's great.
right? Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would love to do something like that with some karate guys, like have like a warrior weekend or something like that. Take them out to something like that for a weekend and get
Mhm.
with nature, some, karate training, fishing and boating and, volleyball. I think that's a great, oh, that's something really cool. Then nature, just getting out there and
Right. Right.
enjoying the camaraderie with each other, you know?
Right. Well, actually,
Whoa, you gave me an idea.
I guarantee you, if you go and ask him about it, I guess he can share with you like the place out there in in a Popker, where they
Okay.
were. And he can probably just share with you how he did what he did because
I will
and
definitely ask him that.
and I know
I'm
they
going to
did it.
plan that.
And I know they did it more than once.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show enough ask Chief about that and how we could, make that happen for the kids. And I think that'd be a great idea for them to get together and have like a warrior weekend for karate with
Hmm.
good sportsmanship and fellowship with the kids that come there and work out together and enjoy nature. Oh, that would be so. And then if they can do fishing out there, that's going to pull me in because that's what I want to do
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I went
Yeah.
I went fishing yesterday, and
Next Thursday, man, let me know because I want to be there with you. I want to get up early, bring my rod. Even if I don't do nothing but drink cold water and eat a bologna sandwich and cheese all day, that's a good day out.
oh wow, you going way back on me on that one right
Yeah.
there, boy, 'cause that's how it
Oh yeah.
was.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love it. Look at them. They're just so disciplined, standing there ready, then lining up and getting ready to go. You know that word Hajime trigger them and they get out there and then they start doing their thing.
All right.
Wow, that was a great day. It was a great event. I'm looking so much forward to next year. Um, just keep it going. I remember years and years of you doing this, and I really missed it during COVID. You know how that stopped everything, and to
Right.
see it coming back around again is so much joy in it. And I know that the parents, they all from my school anyway, they all wanted to thank you and all of that, and the meal was good, and it just all the things that you done for the kids. It was a great day. It was a very
Well,
good, a very positive. Looking forward to it.
what people don't also know, one of the things that that we didn't talk about, and actually we should have talked about. I really didn't talk about it, and I should have talked about it because it should have been in my notes, and that was the pledge that they had to sign a pledge,
Yes,
right? And the pledge is that they was pledged to be drug free, and that's part of it. And that's like we're all right. Now you guys are signing a contract. We're going to hold you to this contract between you and your parents and your instructor, and it's important that you
very big
honor that
thing.
that you honor your contract and that you're signing it because this is your truth, and we want you to.
Let me tell you something, Charles. The kids, we may not think they listen to us. You may not think they're listening, but
Mhm.
things like that, they never forget. And they hold that dear to them. And they watching you.
Mhm.
They watching you. So when you give them something like that to sign as a pledge, they take those things seriously. And I believe in my heart, a lot of them are going to stay adhere to that and stay with that, and keep that pledge in their mind. And remember, when somebody's tempting them, they're going to remember, no, I took this pledge, and they might encourage some of their friends to do the right thing. So that was so powerful. It was such a big thing to do. It was really a great thing.
You know what was funny was I didn't quite understand it, but I heard it. But I heard one of your parents was saying something about their kids, and the kids were questioning about what they were taking and if drugs was in it. Did you hear her in the class?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. They think they're taking aspirin or cold medicine, and they
Right,
want to know the difference.
right.
So and
Oh,
like I said, they listening.
okay. Okay, because I heard her say that. I heard her say something like one of the kids was questioning, like they had to take something and they didn't know it was they was asking if well is it drugs in it, and I was like, oh, okay, somebody paying attention.
Yep. Yep. Because she knew she took that pledge and she don't want to take nothing that got drugs. You know what I mean? So
Right,
they look at stuff really simple than we do. They hear it and go, well, what's that? I just said I wasn't gonna do that. They don't know the medicine and so the parent was explaining to them, no, the doctor prescribes for you to take it to help you feel better. That's okay. But the illegal drugs, the ones that somebody's selling to you on the street, or the like that, those are the kind of things we don't want you getting involved with, that may have you do some bad behavior. And she understood.
right. And then the thing of it is too is that we I was I was telling the story. This all came about because Orlando in Orange County was leading the entire country in deaths among heroin users back in the late 90s. And this is how all
Wow.
of this came about. The little small city of Orlando. Now think about this. I mean, you have Los Angeles, you have Chicago, you have Detroit, you have Philadelphia, you have New York City, you have New Jersey, and out of all these cities, you have Washington D.C., you have Baltimore, and Orlando was leading the
Orlando.
country. So it'd be like,
Wow.
whoa. And because back then they had all these rave parties downtown and all these, that was very popular. And somebody like using their feet there.
Yes, she do. She's going at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their legs. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some
Okay.
people are punchers naturally, and some people are kickers. I
Right.
like the ones who do both.
Yeah. You should be 50-50. Should be
Yep.
50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
But that's some people just naturally go to that. What they feel more comfortable with.
right. And so I was saying that's how all of that came about because back in the late 90s when all of that was taking place, when they hired Bob Picaro to form the office of the Orange County Coalition for a Drug-Free Community, the office, I was working with him. And so this whole thing came about through that office, and they've been a major sponsor. And then I do want to thank my sponsors, by the way. So we want to thank you. We want to thank the sheriff department, the police
Yes.
department,
Yes.
the city of Orlando. We
Yes,
want to thank
sir.
Pepsi. Let me see. I might have
Yes.
something with my sponsors on it here. I'm hoping because we don't want to we don't want to go out of here
Leave
without
anyone out.
without
Yeah.
sponsors. So let me see if I can find my sponsors here. That would
Yeah.
be a that would be a good thing if if I could do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
let me see
I
here.
remember FAMU, and oh, I
Right,
love that picture at the end of the day. Look at that. That's so great.
right.
Look
All
at
right,
those kids.
right, right. Yes, that. Yep, that was us
And
at the
that wasn't
end.
even everybody. That wasn't everybody, you
Right.
know that.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
just some of them.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So let me see. I might have a picture of the sponsors here as well. So let me see here. Yeah, those are my sponsors right
Oh,
there.
yes. There
Yes.
you go.
And so in what's
FAMU modeling.
modeling
Oh,
for
look at
admission
that.
enough,
Yep.
uh, Carl,
Wow.
Morel,
The law
all
firm of
yeah, and
me.
also what's missing off of here is the sheriff department,
Okay.
well care, who also helped us out as well. And
Nice.
so yeah, and I did like this picture, and then because I was trying to get this picture because this is kind of like at the end of the day when quite a few of them had left.
Yeah.
So right,
Yeah.
so I said, you know what,
We
come on
had to kind
everybody.
of corral some people together. Come back, you know.
Yeah. So um, with that being said, so I need to let's see here. All right. Well, I want to thank you so very much because y-
Oh,
you
thank
know
you.
you got to like kind of like give us a a wrap up of the event and what's up and
Well,
coming with you. You have anything up and coming?
yeah, well, I got to tell you, well, we have something coming up in May here in Orlando, May the 18th, 2024 is one of our annual tournaments. And also we have an award dinner that day. But with me, I got a thing going on here October the 28th, I believe. It's an anti-bullying thing that I'm doing at the dojo. So the kids are coming in, and I sit down, I go over information with them to share to them about the effects and cause of bullying and how it affects other people and how what to do if that is happening and things like that, which I really love doing that. And it's always surprising to the parents if they don't know the child being bullied. There's an opportunity for the kid to speak up and say something. And a lot of them, first time the parent ever knew that they were being bullied. And it's like, wow, they never say, sometimes I think a kid got to feel like they're in an environment where it's okay. The other kids are saying with me and me, then they say, okay, I can say it too. They feel more comfortable letting on to it. So that's one event that I'm looking forward to doing here, the October 28th. I think that's a Friday.
Hmm.
And like I said, the tournament next year, and those are kind of things. And I got to say this: anytime anyone want to come by the dojo on Monday nights, we have an adult class. Come in there and train with us and have some fun, and just to get the fellowship. I just love that.
Okay.
That's about what's going on with me, and I
Okay.
thank God that I'm able to do that.
Okay. I'm going to open up a can of worms before we leave.
Okay.
Growing up, there was always bullying. There was always somebody who wanted to be the bad kid, and there was always bullying. So bullying was never anything new growing up among us, and I think of before us. And what I mean now is that it's just different. The aggression, the mindset. Um, it's just for whatever reason it just appeared to be different because I've covered things on bullying, and bullying has always been a concern. But now it is just so different. Just recently, 11-year-old kid is trying to, um, I guess he's trying to go home because they say he was bullied. He shot two people. Um,
Mm,
uh, so he's in the news. This thing happened like um, earlier in the month of
wow.
October. But just the whole concept in the mind, because when you hear this stuff, I try to think when I was 11 years old, and I try to think like I would have never picked up a gun, but I can't. I mean, you can't go there now because it's just so different. You try to process it and you try to put yourself in their shoes, but you can't. You can't do it because that's just not who you are. You can't connect
Well,
those dots. You
it's so
can't.
much different now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't connect the dots. It'd be like you're gonna
Yeah.
go get a gun. You're like at
Well,
11
look at
years
it.
old. Like, huh?
A kid could get on a computer on his phone and find about anything in the world they want to know about. they got all this social media stuff out like Facebook and TikTok and all of that. Somebody can say something to the kid to make them feel bad. In my day, a bully had to get up in my face
Hmm.
to say something to me to bully me because it wasn't no texting me and say, "Oh, you ugly," or "I don't like the way you." Oh, look at those. You don't have no good clothes, or you know all of that. But they got different levels of bullying now that's going on that these kids are exposed to because they're raised up with the computer, and I think it's the immediate gratification age or a generation. They need to have people like them. I need to have a lot of likes on Facebook. I need to have a lot of, back in the day, you had your family, as long as everybody, in your house was okay with you and your cousins, you was pretty much okay. Your
Hmm.
friends you socialized with, some of them you fought, and then the next day you got along, and
But
but this
but
day,
yeah,
hey, bullies
but
will hurt you. The kid
yeah.
that being bullied, they will go back and try to retaliate because they're afraid to put their hands on you. So they will go get a weapon or a gun or a knife and come back, and that's how different it is.
Yeah, but also, you know what we had back in the day? We either had a dog
Grandma
or
who would
no,
take,
no, no, no. We either had a dog or a cat that we could go love, or something that loved us.
oh well, yeah, 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 yeah.
You know,
I had a dog when I was little. Yeah, that's true.
you know,
That's true.
we were, but even so, you outside playing with a dog and a cat.
Yes. And we had bikes we rode around
Yeah,
everywhere.
duh. You went everywhere on your bike. So now it'd be like you try to get kids to go outside now. It's hot.
Yep, it's hot.
It's hot.
Or don't take the computer from, I mean, a phone. I
Oh,
should say the phone. You
yo,
take that phone, it's like you're the worst person in the world.
oh wow. That is
So
absolutely
it's all
crazy.
changed. So we have to evolve too and give them tools to work with that they have, that they're accustomed to working with now. So the whole process have changed a little bit. So we have to get more innovative with that too. And that's one of the things I'm talking on this bullying thing is how the parents, you know, parents got to be parents. Grandma now might be 35 years old or even great grandma, So, it's weird to say that, but
It is.
a
It's
kid
very
have a
weird because
baby at 12
yeah,
or 13, and
yeah,
when she's
because
26,
yeah,
she's a
yeah,
grandmother. She could,
right,
so
right, right. Because back in the day, you'll see Big Mama on that swing, but she was about 60-something years old. That was
yes,
it.
sir.
So you
Eh,
see Big Mama on that swing or in that rocking chair on the front porch. She
Yep,
like 60-something years old. But now you
yep,
you you 30-something years old and you're a grandparent. Like, oh my
yep,
God.
yep. And you're looking at the kids, and guess what? Big Mama and my dear, when they told you to do something, they meant it.
Right. Yeah, I was just having that conversation recently, and this is what I meant. I started to notice this a few years ago because how I was brought up. You know, I can't. I mean, I just can't relate. I just can't. So you gotta bring some entertainment for these kids in church. You gotta bring them some
Yep.
cereal. You got to do this right here. When we was just told, oh, they gave you that look. Remember that look? You know that
Oh,
look?
ooh,
Or
ooh.
you better be quiet.
Mm.
That was it. Then wasn't
I got one
there,
for you.
there
What
wasn't
about in
nothing there.
church falling asleep? What about in
Well,
church
yeah,
falling asleep?
that was when you got home. I saw you sleep in church. Come in. Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh, ooh, ooh.
exactly. So
Times have changed, brother.
they give you that look, or they just, hey, you need to be quiet. There was no gadgets. There was here's cereal, here's this. You was told to be quiet, and that was it. That
And they meant it.
that's it. There was
Yep.
no options.
Yep. None.
And now, and I've seen it when you go and you talk to them and you ask them that question about what we're talking. They look at you like you're crazy. They're like, "What? Huh?" They
Yes,
can't.
sir.
They can't relate to
They
what
can't
you're
relate.
saying.
They can't relate. And it's a shame that art of communicating have gone the way of video games, the TV, and all of that is left. I mean, I would go outside after I done my homework, change out of my school clothes into my play clothes so that I could go out there and have fun in my play clothes. Now is every month I gotta have Jordans, or every other month I gotta have the newest this. And man, the value system, and I think it contributed to a lot of, like I said, the parents, a lot of us who want to do better for our kids than we had it. But you got to realize what made you you.
Oh well. Actually, I'm very jealous of you right now. I'm very jealous
Why you say?
because you had options.
You mean I could go and change the
Yeah,
name
yeah,
of
yeah, 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 yeah,
oh, hey, but what I
yeah. No,
didn't tell you was, hey, what I
I'm just
didn't tell you
messing
was
with
those play
you.
clothes were sweatpants, the same ones every day. You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you so very much, and thank you
You're welcome,
for helping everything come together and everything. Thank you for all your hard work and your dedication.
man. Thank you for that, and thank you for allowing me to come on this great show, The Journey 2020. And I really do look forward to talking with you about a lot of things. And thank you so much for your time, sir.
All right, and people, let me pull out my thing again. Remember that we come to you every Monday at 7 p.m. Let me see. For questions, comments, or concerns, you can always hit us up with an email. And let me give you this date again. The Officer Stanley Murray will be the police chief swearing in. Ceremony is November 2nd at the Life Center Church on 63 East Kennedy Boulevard in
Yes,
Eatonville.
I
That's
know where that's
60,
at.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, the Life Center Church, 63 East Kennedy Boulevard, 32751 at
Yes.
6 p.m. on November the 2nd. So he will be the new police chief in Eatonville,
In
Florida.
Edenfield.
Right. Yes,
Wow.
yes, indeed, duty. So we look forward to that. And I'm Charles Morris, where we say the word comes by faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Lord. We want to thank again, Hunchy Shihan Henry Graves for all of
What's
his time and his effort and his great spirit, and for making a
thank
difference
you.
in the lives of so many. No, thank you. And this is the
Was
Journey 2020. And everybody, enjoy the rest of the week. You be blessed.